Before we do anything else, let's go ahead and save that page. Sometimes I forget to follow my own good advice of saving as soon as you create a page. I'm going to call this Contest 2 just to distinguish it from the contest page that's already there. And let's just copy this and paste it into the title so we don't have that untitled document at the top of the page. Now the actual content of the table we can type in just as we would add content anywhere else on the page. So let's do photo, skill score, and humor rating. Of course, you can enter whatever categories you might prefer. Now you can change the width of table cells simply by clicking and dragging. And if you do that, I want you to notice down here in the property inspector, we have the overall table properties. And you can see the overall width of this table is 725 pixels. But up here, just under the table, when it's selected, you can see the width of each of the columns in the table. So if you want to be a little more precise, let's say we want to make each of those exactly 175 pixels, you can do that by clicking and dragging and watching the amount at the bottom. Now let's add our pictures in here. So we're going to insert some images. We'll take that Jess Best 300 at the top. Now remember, when you're putting in alt text, the more descriptive you can be, the better. And when I click OK, the image is inserted into the table cell just like it would be inserted anywhere else. Now, as I recall, Jessica scored a 7 in the skill category and a 10 plus in the humor rating. You can enter your own scores if you disagree with my assessment. But what I want to do now is show you a little bit about how you can add some styles to this table to change the way it looks. So one of the things you might want to do is actually put that chocolate game contest image at the top of the page. And another thing you might want to do is center this on the page. So for all those things, it's not a bad idea to actually add a div tag around this table. So even though I'm correctly using this table because I use tabular data, I still might use a div tag and CSS to control the positioning of that table on the page. So notice if I select the table, and you can do that by clicking in the upper left-hand corner of the table, or by clicking the table tag in the tag selector at the bottom of the screen. Then, instead of clicking on table, what I want to do is click on the Insert Div Tag button. And you may not have even paid much attention to this before, but when you insert a div tag, you have the option of wrapping it around the selection, starting it after or before the selected tag. It's very handy for better placing your div tags, but especially when you want to do something like wrap a div tag around this entire table. So, not surprisingly, I'm going to name this ID container because it's going to contain everything in my page design. And I'm going to click OK. Now let's create a style for that container. It's an ID style, so we're all set there. I'm going to go right to the box settings. I'm going to set the width to the same width as my table. I'm going to set margins to left and right auto. You've caught on to how to center a div tag by now, I'm sure. And when I click OK, you'll see this is now centered in the middle of the page. And if I want to add something like the banner at the top of the page, I can do so. But let's go ahead and just create a couple more styles here. Now, I noted that this is the table header tag. And there are a lot of ways that you could change the appearance of this. You could put a background color in it here. You could add a border to it. But what I'm going to do is actually create a new style for the table header tag. And I'm going to include all of the style information I want for everything in my table header in that one style. Now that's going to be a tag style because I'm just styling the table header tag. If you want to create a compound style so that you can use tables in another part of the same page with different styling, that certainly is an option. But I'm going to keep it simple, just create a style for the table header. So let's give it a little bit of a background color, maybe kind of a chocolatey background color. And remember, you can always select a color out of the image here. We could make this type a little bigger. We could make this extra large because it's a heading. And we could give it a color like maybe a golden color. And now when I apply, you see that the style for the table header tag is changing both the background color of the cell and the text all at once. Now I'd also like to, let's say, center all of these contents so that they fit better under those headings. So let's create a new style for the table data tag. Again, if you want it to only affect the table data tag in this particular location, you could use a compound style. But I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to do a simple TD tag style. And this time, all I really want to do is change the block settings to text align center. And when I do that, you'll see all of the content center, and that's a really nice way to sort of position things one under another. Now you can continue to use styles as much or as little as you like in a table like this, but my main goal in creating this page with you is just to show you how you combine a simple table for tabular data with a few styles to control the display.